Alright, y'all, so today we're going to be talking about why y'all shouldn't be selling your old Glocks. And when I say old Glocks, I'm really meaning, I wouldn't say Gen 4, even though Gen 4 is getting kind of old. But it's only a gen away from the newest one. When I say old Glocks, I'm meaning like Gen 3, Gen 2. And the only reason I say that is because I went to a gun show a couple months ago, and there's companies out there that only do work on older Glocks. There was a company out there. I was just doing research for like an hour and couldn't find any of them, but it was a company out there that only did work on maybe like Gen 3 Glocks. And what they would do is like, I got my Glock 30 right here. Y'all know how the Glock 19C was a military weapon? I don't know if they was lying. I don't think they was, but they said that the switch to right here that makes the Glock 19C, the Glock 18C fully, they can put the switch on there on a Gen 3 and make it to where when you switch it from semi to where it would be fully, to put it on, to make it a binary Glock, you know. And I really don't even think they're that expensive. It would be like the same amount as the newer Glock. It would just be better. So I don't think anybody should be selling their older Glocks right now, because at that same gun show I went there, I want to say it was a Gen 1. I seen a Gen 1 Glock, and he wanted $1,000 for it with the drum. So it's like, are y'all really wanting to collect these guns or just keep letting them lose value and trade them? So I would say, I couldn't find no websites, but if y'all find some websites, drop them in the comments, and then if I find them, I'll drop them in the comments. But you know, like, if you like the older gens, or if you have the older gens, just do a little bit of research. And I would say keep the gun. You can do the tiniest bit of research, or just go to Reddit. That's what I'm gonna go to after this video. So if I find a link to a website that's doing the stuff that I'm talking about binaries and doing all this extra stuff, because Glock has recently lost their patent to, I believe, the Gen 3 Glock, yeah. So I'm saying, it's a lot of companies gonna start coming out with making clone Gen 3s, and a lot of companies is gonna start producing more mods that directly go to the Gen 3 and Gen 2 and all the older guns. Gen 4 is not too far out of it. I think it's really Gen 4 and Gen 3 that these websites are making money off of, and they mainly or only do Gen 3 and Gen 4 modifications. So if you have a Gen 3 or a Gen 4, I would suggest doing a lot of research, maybe even minimum. I don't know how much research you're gonna have to do depending on what you search up, but I would suggest doing a little bit of research, or even go to your local gun store and then ask them, do they know anything. Do some research on it. If you have probably like any Gen 3, Gen 4, do some research, find out what websites you want to work with. You know, just, how do I explain this? Just do not trade those guns, because right now you can probably find a Gen 3 for like $300. Easy. And you can $300-400 easy, and you can leave with it that day. But I would suggest doing the research, and there's a lot of companies that do heavy modifications to the Gen 3s and Gen 4s. And even if you don't have a Gen 3 or Gen 4 that you have, you can contact these companies and they will let you build the gun up with them having the Gen 3 or Gen 4. Which you would go to the website, they let you pick what Glock you want, customize it however you want, and they will send you the entire gun. You don't even have to have the gun. But I would suggest, if you do have the gun, do not sell it or trade it. You will get very little value for it. Instead of shipping the gun out to one of these companies and letting them do a lot of mods on it to bring up the value, or just bring up the fun in the gun. So I would say, please do this. Even if you just do like 5 minutes of research. If you have an older Gen 4 and down, do a little bit of research. Find these companies that specialize in Gen 3 and Gen 4. They do heavy modifications on it, and just look at what they have. Like I was saying, I went to the gun show not too long ago. It was a company saying that they would put the Glock 18C switch on the Gen 3 or Gen 4 and when you put it on supposedly fully, it was shit in binary. I would love to have that on one of my guns. So do me a favor, do a little bit of research, find these companies. If you're looking into getting an older Glock, work with one of these companies, and you will be more happy than if you were just to go buy a regular Gen 3 or Gen 4. And let me know how y'all experience go. Find one of these websites if y'all can. And if I can, I will drop the link in the comments. And we can figure this all out together, because I will be looking into getting one soon. So just let me know how everything goes. And let me know if you'll find it. So thank y'all for watching.